back to yet another episode of the 2 Count. It's been a while, and I know the faces may look a little bit different than normal, and that is because we have a guest host this time out. So we've got our boy Dave as normal. I am Charlie, and joining us is Shawn Clement. Shawn, I hope I said that right.
Works for me.
It works for him. Shawn is a veteran of our United States Armed Forces, so we'd like to thank him for his service to start with. And then in addition to that, Shawn has been providing amazing context week by week about everything going on in the Asian market for professional wrestling. It's a point of view you don't hear from many people, and it's actually really refreshing. So what I wanted to do, and something that we've always said that we were going to do, is bring Shawn on the show, have him discuss everything going on in Asia. He writes for the Chair Shot. He's adding his perspective there. Let him lay out the Asian market for us, talk about OWE, talk about NXT expansion into Asia, and really just lay the groundwork and give you guys some knowledge about what's going on with wrestling in Asia. So with that, I will pass it off to our guest co-host, Shawn.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll start off with Oriental Wrestling Entertainment. And the majority of their wrestling talent comes from Shaolin monk training. So these guys are doing flips above people. One guy's flipping, jumps over 13 people. His name is Achilles Ben. They can jump from the floor on over the top rope and do a double stomp.
So it's almost like Cirque du Soleil. Like their description was accurate. It's like Cirque du Soleil meets wrestling.
It is very accurate. Majority of them are smaller than what we see for heavyweights. Well, we would associate most of them with probably the same as Pac.
Okay.
Neville, about the same body styles for the majority of them, but they are cut. They are cut like Neville, and their martial arts skills are just out of this world. There's one team called Henna, and they're more comedy. But at the same time, they're pretty good athletes. They're overweight, and yet they can do martial arts just like everybody else. And they have special like moves for butt moves and belly splash for their size. But it is just extremely fun to watch these guys. For what else is OEW or OWE doing? So right now they've got 2 tours going on. They've got one group that's touring Japan and another group touring Taiwan. And at the same time, they're still in a single elimination tournament to determine the 2 wrestlers joining Shima and probably T-Hawk for a double or nothing.
So they're having a tournament right now to actually fill those spots.
To fill the 2 final spots. So 2 spots going to the Strong Hearts are going to be Shima, and probably he didn't say who that second person was within the Strong Hearts, but it's probably going to be T-Hawk. T-Hawk is the bigger, stronger of all the other Strong Hearts. So he would probably be the one that fits into the American style early on.
And T-Hawk's the guy that they compare to, they say he's a Chinese version of Kenny Omega, correct?
Actually, no.
No?
No. This guy, there's a wrestler named Titan.
Tight.
Yeah, he started out with a second Chinese promotion called Middle Kingdom Promotion. He had been there for like maybe 6 months, but this guy is huge. and he's got the same body type as Kenny Omega, about the same height, I would think. Doesn't have the greatest technical skills, but against the Chinese competition, they're so much smaller. He sneezes and they float out of the ring.
How do you think these guys will...
He defeated 3 guys at once, so, I mean, he's pretty powerful guy.
Now, how do you think these guys will translate, A, to the American audience, and B, working with American guys like SCU, who their first opponents will be, and the Young Bucks and the rest of the tag division at AEW?
Okay, so in regards to dealing with SCU, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Primarily because no matter who you put into a match with SCU, those 3 are experienced enough where they can lead a match.
Yep.
There's some differences in how they do things, so they're going to have to learn the American way. But we don't know how AEW is going to do their rules.
Yep.
OWE has this special rule with tag matches. If you control your opponent for 10 seconds, your partner can enter the ring and help you beat down your opponent while his teammate cannot enter the ring.
So they permit gang beatdowns, is what you're telling me?
If you control it long enough, they can beat each other down.
That is amazing. That's the craziest rule I've ever heard.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Crazy. I've never heard of that before in my life.
That's kind of awesome.
There's things that are part of OWE that could make AEW fun.
So we can safely say that when they do bring OEW?
OWE.
When they bring OWE talent to AEW, we can see them as the cruiserweights of the now. You know what I mean?
They will be cruiserweights.
They'll be AEW's version of 205 Live.
I don't think.
Now Achilles Spin. He's a little bit bigger than your normal cruiserweight, but he's not big enough to be considered a heavyweight. So he's like right in the middle. He's really well defined, but he's probably the same size as SCU, but well defined.
And honestly, just
fresh
being honest,
in his bicep.
I don't think the guys in AEW have any plan to let weight dictate titles. It looks to me like they're going to follow a WWE model without 205 Live. So there's going to be a tag title, a mid-card title, and a heavyweight title. And then there's going to be the opportunity to defend belts from other countries, like AAA's belt, like OWE's belt. I think those belts will be mixed into the promotion to fight, just like you're seeing with like AAA and Ring of Honor. I don't necessarily think the guys, especially guys like the Young Bucks, who were undersized their whole life, and Cody, who was on the smaller side of WWE, they're not going to want to let weight dictate who their best performers are. And if you look at who their best performers are right now, I mean, Kenny Omega's a big guy, but he's still on the smaller side of what WWE looks for, right? So I don't think it's going to necessarily be about weight with AEW. So I think these cruiserweights can come in, and maybe you get a guy who's on the smaller side from OWE going against Sammy Guevara for the light heavyweight title of Mexico.
What I like is that AEW is their playing is so good, bro. They're like this guy, like I was telling you guys on our Twitter talk. Michael Nakazawa.
Don't even mention that guy.
Right?
I can't hear his name anymore. I just can't. It's in my brain.
Michael Nakazawa.
Stop it.
But he was tag team partner for Kenny Omega.
I know.
Right, but no, I didn't.
Most people don't realize that.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't know that he's like really a really good wrestler.
He is. He's talented.
I had no clue who the fuck he was. But you're making me, someone who doesn't know who he is, search who this guy is and what he's done, and look at some of his matches. So you're giving me a background, if I might say, of who this guy is and what he's gonna be doing. He's gonna be doing all this shit here in AEW. You're only gonna see him here. So I like how they're introducing more of the Asian, wrestlers.
So I think the funniest
something that Michael Nakazawa, I said his name again, something that you're gonna like. He is the first Asian that can cut a promo. This guy can piss off all of America in 3 minutes.
his name does.
Okay. Oh man, he had everybody at a comic book convention wanting to climb the rafters and chase him down. And so that was one of his last matches.
And the genius of Cody and the Bucks there on being the elite is no one knows who this guy is, and yet everyone knows his name because they've literally branded him into your head and put it on a t-shirt.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm like, damn, who the fuck is this Michael Nakazawa guy?
His name's great.
And I started fucking Googling who he was, and that's how I, read about, that he was Kenny Omega's tag team partner. All this other shit.
I don't want to go to AEW, and we can go on AEW tangents because I think there's something more important to talk here. So now we know a little bit about OWE, and you've provided that context. Thank you, Shawn. But Shawn produced 2 amazing articles. I'm actually going to link them into the description of this video. And in those amazing articles, one was his upfront thoughts about a tweet that came out, and then one was almost like a quasi-retraction / more information about as it revealed. But really, it was talking about what was happening in Asia at the moment. And I think that that's something that we really need to dial into, and everyone needs to hear. So, Shawn, please tell us what's going on out in Asia right now.
Okay, so we'll start off with the majority of these promotions are 5 years or less. Okay, they're controlled by 3 legends. One is a Japanese women's wrestler by the name of Emma Sakura. And she has produced wrestlers that have had a total of 63 world-level titles. Then you have Ho Ho Lun,
who's been in WWE recently.
Which was in WWE. And also Michael Tang, which was the situation. Or the statement, the statement in WWE NXT. So these guys have produced multiple promotions throughout the area. They tour the areas, train the young wrestlers to become trainers themselves. And there's a 16-year-old girl in one of the promotions she's been teaching from that is going to be a big star worldwide in the next 3 years because she's still in school right now. Okay. But we also know that WWE has had plans for creating an NXT Asia.
Yep.
And how they want to do it is the same way they did in the United Kingdom, is by taking established promotions, putting them under the WWE banner, and then starting their business that way. But in Asia, you don't have the numbers. This past weekend, Hong Kong's Wrestling Federation put out, a proposal for all of the major promotions in Asia, saying we should get together and come under one united front. Now, there wasn't a lot of information at the time, and so my first report was, let's look at what we do have. We have WWE talent traveling through Asia. Everybody looks and says John Cena was on doing a movie with
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, Jackie Chan, but he was also doing 10 events throughout Asia and the Pacific, backing the WWE.
Yeah, so when he was out there doing the movie, he was wrestling like for other promotions?
He wasn't wrestling. He was speaking with government officials. He was speaking with promotion, the bookers and the executive levels.
Essentially acting as an ambassador for WWE.
Okay.
He's been an ambassador.
Yeah.
So his ambassador, Ho-Ho Lund's connection with WWE, Michael Tang's connection with WWE. At the same time, American Chinese wrestler by the name of Zeta Zhang was doing a tour throughout Asia. And all of these tours are making connections. And they all have associations with the WWE. So it made a very convincing argument that it could happen where they were trying to create that NXT brand.
Yep.
The next day, I received contact from actual officials in Hong Kong Wrestling Federation, which clarified that some of the promotions they did not include, they meant to include, and it wasn't associated with the WWE. It was part of the political Chinese program called One Belt, One Road initiative. That's more of a trade / infrastructure alliance between governments. They're using the Chinese promotions to promote that government program. So they're trying to take all these promotions and put it under one united umbrella to help support that overall initiative from the government.
And that's kind of wild if you think about it, just holistically, right? And take a step back. When we look at the United States, even the territorial days of the United States in the 60s, 70s, earlier, it was always free enterprise, right? It was American businessmen taking their own money, taking talent, yes, probably very poorly treating that talent, but taking that talent and just building out promotions and trying to grow it into a thriving business. If you look at it from a flip side perspective now, what Asia's actually doing is not Asia, China specifically, and then a bunch of other Asian markets is, look, wrestling is the biggest thing in Japan. It is really big in the United States. Let's put some sort of stimulus package in place to build out wrestling in China, which, if you think about it, that's kind of trippy to, at least to me, from my perspective. The government is actually trying to get themselves into the wrestling business.
Yeah, and their quality of wrestling is amazing. The entire region, you're gonna have low-level guys, like everybody's gonna have that. Mm-hmm. But as a whole, all of these businesses, except maybe one or two that were just oddballs, all of them are 5 years or less since they were created. And the big ones, Middle Kingdom China, is owned by an American expat. So he knows what the American market likes too.
So you think their eyes are set on very heavily building up the brand, creating one brand of Chinese wrestling, and then eventually looking for some sort of European, North American expansion as well.
I don't know if they're looking at it the same way that WWE looks at it. I think they're wanting to solidify a union within the Asia Pacific market and then keep everybody out.
It wouldn't be the first time they tried to build a wall around themselves.
Right. But I mean, I'm sure that they'll make partnerships, because Middle Kingdom has used Impact Wrestling a couple times to book a single person. They've talked with WWE officials, and OWE's made a partnership. And also, an interesting thing this weekend happened. Middle Kingdom reached out to AEW trying to find out what Ali's contract situation was and if it prevented them from booking her in China.
Interesting.
So there's possible second partnership that could take place for AEW in the near future. And another interesting fact that they brought up to me was that very soon they're going to announce a deal that they've made with an American company. But they haven't told us who, and they haven't told us when they're going to make the announcement.
It could very well be AEW.
Could be.
From everything that I've seen from Cody, the Bucks, Kenny Omega, Tony Khan, they're all about a worldwide wrestling economy, right? So they actually want to promote cross-border promotional work, right? They want to have guys from different promotions coming in and out of their promotion. I think you'll eventually see Impact Wrestling start to get fingerprints in AEW as well. I don't think that they're going to potentially limit any partnership. They want their talent to be able to work anywhere. You're talking about guys that are the boys, right? And they've made their money the past 10 years just going from territory to territory to territory. So I think it creates a really unique situation right now. I think you will see Ali wind up in China. I don't think they'll have a problem with it at all. Just like I don't think you've seen the last of Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho in New Japan. I think there's really a world of possibilities right now in terms of these partnerships. I think.
Well, but I'm surprised that the only partnership that AEW didn't sign was with ROH.
They will not partner with ROH.
Why not? They have so much talent there that they know.
I think ROH is threatened right now. That they're losing talent, and they're not willing to give up anything more.
But I'm surprised. Because isn't Bubba Ray part of the creative or whatever there?
It's not about that. It's about you basically took who is Ring of Honor's top talent. It was the Young Bucks. It was Cody Rhodes. Those were the people that were putting butts in the seats. Ring of Honor is like a cockroach, right? Regardless of who leaves, they're very good at elevating talent and making new upper card stars. And there's also some few holdovers that never leave, like Lethal and the Briscoes, right? But Ring of Honor is always going to have people to elevate. The problem is the Elite, for the first time, had people talking about Ring of Honor in the same sentence as WWE. Now, not as from a competitive standpoint, but from an alternative standpoint. When the Elite walked away, and trust me, Marty Scurll is next. When the Elite walked away, you took away all of their top draws in one swoop. They're all hurt by that. You know what I mean? There's probably a good business relationship because Cody's too smart not to burn anybody. But they don't want to help them. Let's put it like that.
I think that of all the American promotions, the one that has the advantage in Asia is going to be AEW.
Yep.
Because instead of, like, WWE is entering Asia in a position of power, and they want to control things as they expand. If you look at Ring of Honor is kind of neutral. They're kind of timid when it comes to reaching into Asia. They don't want to find out what it's about. AEW is coming in as an equal partner, where we'll give you some, you give us some, we share. So they're coming in and they're participating like the Asian countries do, where we share our talent equally as equal partners, rather than an overwhelming partner trying to take over and control the situation.
Now, how long? So that's a great way to take the conversation next. So you're 100% right. Triple H, and look, I give Triple H a lot of credit. He's brilliant. But Triple H's plan for NXT was always to build out a global brand, continent by continent, country by country. How do you think this impacts his ability to build an NXT Asia? Is it done? Is that it? Is it scrapped now?
I don't think it's scrapped, but it definitely hurts, because if all of the Asian promotions that exist today go under that one banner, it's going to force Triple H and Vince to build their own schools, build their own connections, get their own bookers, train their own talent, and they won't have that flexibility to share with the other promotions, because in the past, WWE doesn't like to share with anybody.
No, not at all.
And so if you're not going to share your talent with me, I'm not going to share my talent with you. And the Asian markets would have the advantage when it comes to the talent.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I am not... Me and Dave have had conversations on multiple levels about NXT expanding all over the world, and what that means and what that could look like and how that could hurt the wrestling economy, because basically then you are rolling up everything under the WWE brand, which is ultimately what they were going for, right? So I think this is great news. I think this is fantastic. I'm all for competition. I don't think WWE should expand into Asia to begin with. I think WWE should be focusing on their main roster and really refining that before they start just trying to go all over the world. They've got enough talent where they could send every talent that's not featured on a show and do a full card in every single country of the world. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, no, they do.
My thing for WWE is they should pick their 20 wrestlers that they want to work around and release everybody else. Because right now they have so much talent, they can't use over half of them. So you're paying.
I'm hoping that
for nothing.
Well, it's the flip side.
That Bruce Pritchard turns shit around there.
Well, let's be real about something. You know what they are right now, right? They're WCW on the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
That's ultimately what they're doing right now. They're buying talent with no plans for them. I mean...
And this is something else that you're going to like about Asian or OWE specifically. The fans can go online and they can grade the wrestlers. And those grades, they don't determine the match results, but they influence the match results. And it helps the executives in OWE create the storylines and where the rivalries are going to take place at, according to how fans want to see it go.
So basically, if we were comparing it to a situation today, Kofi Kingston would be the world champion and heading into WrestleMania without this whole drawn out.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be, because who's more popular right now?
Kofi.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe they would be like Bobby Roode. If he was in the middle of popularity, could end up being a rival instead of somebody else.
That makes perfect sense.
I don't know what fans would do.
That's one. That's one.
Bring that along, then that's just going to enhance the fan participation.
They just sign talent and they don't know what to do with them. And like, for example, Bobby Roode is one of them. Like, that guy has to be the top 5 of the new wrestlers right now. He's not like new, but you know, he's had what, 15-year career.
There's a really simple explanation as to why Bobby Roode's not prospering on the main roster. Bobby Roode needs to be a shithead. Bobby Roode needs to be a cocky, egotistical heel. Glorious is not enough.
I think that it's impacted too because he was Impact for so long. So they still see him as an Impact wrestler. So they're going to keep those guys down until they forget their Impact.
I don't understand how he hasn't had a rivalry with AJ Styles.
Well, that's something for why I'm angry about WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is going to be a failure.
Because WrestleMania sucks.
Well, let's save that. Shawn, why don't you actually stay on? We're actually going to do our early thoughts on WrestleMania immediately following this video. So why don't you stay on for that conversation? And you can absolutely go nuts and apeshit on it because I'm going to too. But we can come back to that. Let's close up on Asia now for a minute because I think we've given everybody a good synopsis. So Shawn, I'm going to let you close here. Over the next 6 months, 1 year, what should everybody expect to see coming out from Asia holistically? And that could include NXT, OWE, or the rest of the market. What do you see happening over the next 6 months to a year?
I expect to see Hong Kong successfully make that alliance with all of the major players. I predict that there's going to be some talent that you're going to see permanently in the bigger promotions in the U.S. and some of them are going to be Japanese because Japanese and Australians are active in Asia and they tour through all that area and they get all that experience. So you're going to see an explosion of Asian talent coming out. I doubt seriously that WWE is going to experience that because the Asians that are in WWE, they will not return when their contracts are up.
Yep, like Nakamura and Hideo Itami and Asuka because they're mistreated. They're told that they couldn't be at the top level because they're
going to take their experience back. And Asuka will probably go to New Japan, you know. So a lot of them in New Japan or some of the Japanese promotions, but because they mix so well with all the other Asians, the Asian promotions, that word is going to get out, and they're going to look for better opportunities with AEW, Ring of Honor. They got a lot of luchadors, so AAA will be successful in bringing in new talent, but they're going to stay away from WWE.
Oh man, could you guys imagine Kana showing up in Kana's Asuka in Japan? Can you imagine Kana showing up in AEW? Oh my, the world would go crazy. I know Nakamura's going there. I have no doubt in my mind.
Remember these 3 letters: AZM. She is going to be a star in 3 years. She's only 16 right now, AZM. And she's already won a world title. And they're keeping her back. She lost it, so she's back in the middle of the pack until she graduates school.
So she's the Oriental Paige.
She is going to be the Paige, and she's going to be the Paige at 18, 19 years old.
Wow. Well, guys, this has been an amazing conversation about wrestling going on in the Asian continent right now. As we've all said in a million times, it's a very, very exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Great time to be alive and watch the world come together over professional wrestling. We're going to wrap up this episode of the 2 Count this time around. We've got a couple more we're going to be filming. Before we check out, I ask you to please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. We look forward to chatting with you guys next time. For Charlie, Dave, Shawn, we're checking out. Y'all have a great night.